Welcome back. Bienvenidos, mis amigos, mis amigas. Muchachos, muchachas. I am Thomas, your host, or you can call me Thomas, and this is Mateina, your podcast that is powered by Somos Mateina, your yerba mate online store. And today we have a wonderful and jam-packed episode as always, but today the focus is on yerbas. Yes, we're looking at specifics. We're talking about brands. We are going from country to country. We start in Argentina, where the tango comes from. Then we go to Uruguay and look at the PU1 yerbas and Paraguay. And of course, we're gonna take a quick stop in Brazil, chimarrão. Yes, if that does not sound good, then I don't know what sounds good. But my friends, we're going to start this episode with a sip. A sip of yerba mate. Sip of my good yerba. And today, my dear friends, I am drinking Sara. It's a PU1 yerba with herbs. Can taste the chamomile, the manzanilla. And without any further ado, now that we have recharged our batteries, we're going to dive right into Mateina, your podcast. But first, maybe you want to follow us. Maybe you want to see what's going on our Instagram. We post really interesting tips and tricks. We post new arrivals. And with that said, maybe you want to stop by at somosmateina.com. Somosmateina.com. Yep, that's one word. And get your yerba, get your bombichas, get your gear. Whatever you need, we have it. And we ship all over Europe. If you order for 59 euros or more, you don't pay for shipping. Sounds good? Sounds good. So let's dive right in. Argentina. We're starting with the classics. Because when most people think of yerba, they are thinking of Argentina, right? Argentina is by far the world's largest producer, with the provinces of Misiones, for example, which is the heart of the cultivation, where the Guarani people were the first ones to harvest it and then drank yerba mate long before European settlers arrived. And then later, the Jesuit missionaries came and helped the cultivation and spread the plant throughout the region. Classic Argentine yerba. What does it look like? It's often described as the balanced one. And why is that? Well, that's very simple. Because you have everything in there that comes from the Ilex paraguayensis plant. Contrary to the Uruguayan one. Because in the Uruguayan ones, there is a few things that are not in there. And that's, for example, stems. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So the cut usually contains three parts: the leaves, the small stems, and a moderate amount of powder, or the polvo. And those stems aren't just fillers. They actually soften the bitterness and create a smoother, longer-lasting infusion. Visually, Argentine yerba has a more rustic appearance. You see olive green leaves mixed with beige stems and fine powder. It feels light, slightly coarse in your hand, with enough dust to create the stable mate without becoming overwhelming. So when you open a fresh bag, you'll usually notice aromas of dried grass, kraus for example, hay, toasted cereals, and sometimes subtle notes of wood, nuts, or herbs. And many Argentine yerbas are aged anywhere from 9 months to 2 years. And then there is the Arai 900 días, 900 days, it's almost 2.5 years, but it's very rare. And that period, that aging period, just rounds up the flavor and reduces the harsh bitterness that you have in the beginning when the aging process starts. So let's dig into some brands, because that is probably what you were waiting for, right? What is good for beginners? What is a classic Argentine yerba? What are the flavors that you get out of this? Rosamonte, that's the traditional list. Point blank. It's one of the classic names in Argentine mate. Comes from Misiones and is famous for its deep traditional flavor. So when you open a bag of Rosamonte, the first impression is powerful. Dry herbs, earth, wood, and a slight roasted character. It's not barbacoa though, so don't mix that up. The cut contains a good balance of leaves, stems, powder, just giving it a strong but stable structure. It's a bold flavor, noticeable bitterness, slightly smoky, and a lingering herbal finish. It's not a shy yerba. It announces itself. And the Rosamonte is perfect to someone who already enjoys intense coffee or dark chocolate, strong teas. It is a mate for people who want character and don't mind a little bitterness. The feeling of drinking Rosamonte is very traditional. Sitting outside, sharing mate with friends, enjoying a yerba that tastes connected to generations of Argentine culture. Then we have the reliable one, Taragüi. Taragüi is one of the most recognizable Argentine brands in the world. Produced by Establecimiento Las Marias, this is a company that produces many different yerbas, yerba brands. It represents what many people think when they think of just everyday Argentine mate. The appearance is clean and consistent with a classic green color, medium cut. The aroma is gentle, fresh grass, dry herbs, and a touch of toasted grain. The flavor is balanced. It's slightly bitter with a hint of sweetness, with smooth herbal character. It does not overpower the palate, which makes it ideal for drinking throughout the entire day with numerous refills. Taragüi is a great choice for beginners who want to start with an authentic Argentine yerba experience without the intensity though. It is also loved by experienced drinkers because it's dependable and you can prepare it without just thinking too much. It just forgives you. Hot water, too hot water, too cold water, and all the other beginner mistakes that sometimes people make. And that's how you learn, right? So we're going to the premium and elegant one, La Merced. La Merced represents the more refined side of Argentine yerba. Instead of focusing only on mass production, the brand highlights different origins and processing techniques. The packaging already gives a premium impression. It is a beautiful cardboard box with a silver sealed packaging inside. The yerba in this packaging feels more carefully selected. The leaves are visually beautiful with a more uniform cut and a fresh green appearance. But that depends on the variety. Flavors can range from delicate herbs to flowers and to deeper toasted and smoky notes. Their barbacoa, for example. It's especially interesting because the traditional smoke-dried process creates flavor, similar to roasted nuts, wood, and warm spices. So La Merced is for the curious drinker, for the person who enjoys exploring wine regions, specialty coffee, or craft tea. It shows how complex yerba mate can become. And if you want my personal opinion on this, if you want to try the highest quality of Argentine yerba that is not a small artisanal brand, go with La Merced. Try the different kinds. Campo de Monte, Campo Sur, Barbacoa. There's so many and you cannot go wrong. Just try them. And of course you get them on somosmatina.com. Playadito, the friendly everyday mate. Your best friend when you love good quality that does not bite you in the ass. And I explain what that means. It's famous for being the easiest yerba to love. It has soft aromas, notes of fresh grass, light herbs, natural sweetness. The cut is balanced, producing a smooth infusion that does not become harshly bitter or washed out quickly. And this is what I mean. It does not bite you in the ass. It's not overly bitter. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly smoky. It's just perfect. The taste is gentle with mild bitterness and pleasant, creamy textures. Playadito is often recommended for beginners because it teaches people how mate should feel without overwhelming them. And it is also popular amongst families and casual drinkers who want a comfort mate that you can enjoy from morning until the evening. And now, my friends, now we have learned so much about Argentine yerba. And there's hundreds of yerbas. Just on somosmateina.com, we have over 90 different yerbas now. And Argentina, I don't know how many different kinds of yerbas they have, but there is probably hundreds of different kinds of yerbas that you can find. But if you start with the basics, La Merced, Playadito, and when I say basics, I'm not talking about quality or whether it's a high-end brand or not. It's just, they are just good. The quality is always there. It always feels right when you drink it. So Playadito. Go with the yellow one, the traditional one. In the beginning, that's better. The red one is the Despadada, is a little bit stronger because there are no stems in it. So it's the more intense one. Try them and then venture out. Go to artisanal brands. Try Porongo, for example. I love Porongo. It's a beautiful, beautiful yerba. It has a little bit of a bitter taste to it. Yeah, so it's more intense in bitterness than the aforementioned ones. But you will love it when you venture out. So don't stick to just one brand. Really, venture out. Try it. A yerba bag is not that expensive, and it helps people because the mate industry is a difficult one because the farmers don't get that much money anymore. So think about this when you purchase a yerba. Try different ones. That's the message that I'm trying to relay here. Try different ones, venture out, try small artisanal brands, and don't be shy. If you have any questions, post something in the comments or just go on Instagram at somosmateina and send me a DM. I'm always there. I always answer questions. But now move on. Let's move on to Uruguay. My Uruguayos. Fine cuts, big flavor is what comes to my mind before I sip on a Uruguayan yerba. We're gonna cross over the Rio de la Plata into Uruguay because here's something that most people don't know. Uruguay drinks more yerba mate per person than any other country in the world, but it doesn't grow its own. You probably know that because you're an expert, right? So, I have a question for you experts out there. Where do the Uruguayan style yerba leaves come from? If you know it, drop a comment, let me know. I'll reveal it in the next episode. So, back to Uruguay and the fine cut, big flavor. And that's pretty much the first thing you notice, the cut. Because Uruguayan yerba is much finer than Argentine yerba. The leaves are ground smaller. There are a few stems in it, if even. Most of them don't even have stems. There are significantly more powder. At first glance, it almost looks like finely chopped tea mix with green dust. Because of its fine cut, it packs together tightly inside the mate, building a good montanita. So it makes it much easier to build that mountain that you need. And it becomes even more important since the powder helps stabilize the structure. The smell is fresh, grassy, slightly earthy, and often more intense, significantly more intense than Argentine varieties. And we're going to talk about the varieties in a second. The high leaf content creates obviously a strong aroma, and it also gives you a lot more energy because of the caffeine content. The taste is rich, it's concentrated, it's often more bitter, and experienced drinkers like me, I admit it, I love PU1 yerbas. This is what the technical term for Uruguayan yerbas is. I love them. And then I love Argentine barbacoa yerbas. Those are my absolute favorites. But it's also interesting to see how long it lasts, because a few flavorful refills, no problem. A few more, no problem. Few more, no problem. The yerba does not fade quickly. And the king of Uruguayan style mate is undoubtedly Canarias. If you've ever visited Uruguay, you'll see the package everywhere, this bright yellow one, the traditional one. It's known for its powerful flavor, creamy texture, and remarkable longevity. But let's look at this legend. It's the fine cut that you notice first, right? It's a Uruguayan one. Small, almost powdery. And the back feels much denser than Argentine yerba. The aroma it's earthy. It's just deep in quality. It's intense. Begins with a strong herbal bitterness, and then it develops to a creamy green flavor. The leaves and the long-lasting finish is just beautiful on your palate. And Canarias is loved by pretty much everyone. Yeah, you can say it's because of its caffeine content. It's more intense, but that's what Uruguayan yerbas are. They're in general more intense because of the finer cut. However, Canarias it's just a beautiful drink for everyone. It's the kind of yerba that just accompanies you everywhere. Everywhere. So if you ever see me on the streets, you will always, 99.9% of the time you will see me with my gourd, with my mate thermos, and the Uruguayan yerba in it. But let's look at the elegant Uruguayan one. Sara offers the traditional Uruguayan experience, but with a reputation for being slightly smoother. The texture is fine, it's rich, it creates a full-bodied flavor. The aroma is fresh herbal without being as aggressive as some stronger Uruguayan options. The taste normally combines bitterness with softer sweetness and a clean finish. But we also have to mention here that Sara makes infusion yerba. So there is a lot of flavored options. They focus on the herbs flavors. So you have it with manzanilla, with menta, with all kinds of herbs. And those are not artificial oils. Those are real herbs that they pick and they use to flavor the mate. So if you want something that is not artificially produced, there are some Argentinian brands that do that these days, but Sara does not do that. They really pick the herbs and they implement them in their yerba. So Sara is really ideal for someone who wants to explore Uruguayan mate but prefers a more balanced introduction. And then you can really choose which herbs do you like. And based on that, you just make your purchase, right? Pajarito, clean and powerful. This is the second most popular yerba from Uruguay amongst the mate drinkers. It's just a classic Uruguayan fine cut, slightly cleaner and more refined yerba. The flavor is strong, it's organized, notes of fresh herbs, green tea, and gentle bitterness. And Baldo is loved by people who appreciate precision and consistency. It's a great choice for someone who wants a serious daily mate without too much roughness, without too much changing the yerba, because Baldo lasts pretty much forever until it is lavado, until it's washed out, until it has no flavor anymore. So those are three major ones. There is another one that I really like, Seleme Centenaria. It's a smaller brand, beautiful yerba, really good Uruguayan PU1 yerba. If you want to check it out, go on our website. We have it. Taste it for yourself. Let me know what you think, because it won at this year's Mundial de la Yerba Mate in Buenos Aires. It won the gold medal. So go try it. And now let's hop over the Rio de la Plata again, but not back to Argentina. We're going a little bit farther up to Paraguay, where mate culture takes a refreshing twist. What could that mean? I mean, you are an expert, right? You know it, because Paraguay's hot climate makes people want to drink tereré. What is tereré? Well, tereré is pretty much the cold version, the cold brother of the warm yerba mate. It's just prepared the same way, but instead of using warm water, you put ice cold water in it, and then things change. Because Paraguayan yerba is often processed specifically for cold preparation. The cut generally resembles Argentine yerba, but may contain slightly larger leaves and a generous amount of stems, depending on the producer. They'll have less powder, which is a good thing when you use cold water. And if you've ever had tereré and your bombilla did not clog, but with Argentinian yerba, because you drank it warm, it clogged, then you kind of know why, because of the low dust, the low polvo amount. Visually, the color tends to remain vibrant green because many Paraguayan yerbas are less heavily aged than their Argentine counterparts. When you open a package, you'll notice an incredible fresh aroma. Herbal notes dominate, often accompanied by mint, citrus, eucalyptus, or medicinal plants, depending on the blend. Many Paraguayan brands produce flavored versions designed specifically for tereré, like peppermint, boldo, burrito, chamomile, lemongrass, and other traditional herbs that create an intensely refreshing drink. But what I can tell you is, and I have never been to Paraguay, but I've talked to Paraguayans, they always told me that they buy the classic Paraguayan yerbas without any flavor. Pajarito, for example. We're going to talk about this in a second, but there is no flavor in this in the original form. And then they add their own flavors. They slice lemons, limes, and push it in there, and put an ice cube in there to make it really nice and cold, and flavor it themselves. So yeah, Pajarito, the classic. It has a traditional appearance, typical Paraguayan yerba, balanced cut, strong herbal aroma. Flavor is earthy, smoky, slightly smoky, and pleasantly bitter. Hot, it provides a classic Paraguayan mate experience. Cold, it becomes incredibly refreshing. So Pajarito is perfect for people who enjoy bold, natural flavors and just want to connect to the traditional Paraguayan culture. Curupi, that's the tereré specialist. Curupi, I would never drink warm. It's just not my thing. Maybe some people like it. I personally don't like it, because to me, Curupi is really the go-to yerba for tereré. And that's, I think, what it is famous for too. Because the base yerba is smooth, but then you add herbs. You create a completely different experience. Mint versions feel cooling and refreshing, while citrus blends could be bright and energetic. Curupi is ideal for people who find traditional mate too serious and want something playful and experimental, because you can add whatever you want to your yerba. And then you have herbal varieties, Campesino, for example. Campesino offers some of the widest selections of flavored Paraguayan yerba. Its blends often include traditional herbs used throughout Paraguay, creating flavors that are refreshing and aromatic. This is a brand for explorers, people who enjoy discovering combinations rather than drinking the same mate every day. Yeah, that's the Paraguayan yerbas. Paraguayan yerbas, cold, ice cube in there. Preparation is pretty much the same. And then you just stuff in herbs, fruits, whatever your heart desires, and then you drink it and enjoy it. Talking about drinking and enjoying. And now, one quick stop, because that's also yerba mate. It's not as common as all the other ones that we just mentioned, but it needs to be mentioned. It needs to have a place in the mate world too, and it does, because it is called chimarrão. And just because of that name, it already deserves a place. And that's Brazil's most famous version of yerba mate. Unlike the aged yerbas we've discussed in the previous half an hour, chimarrão is made from extremely fresh leaves that are ground into an almost powdery-like consistency. Its brilliant emerald green color is unmistakable. You notice it when you see it. That's the only, in my opinion, is the only yerba that you can see from the far, because it's so bright green. The aroma matches the color. It's intensely fresh, almost like freshly cut spinach or green tea. The flavor is surprisingly smooth, vegetal, naturally sweet, with very little bitterness. Preparing chimarrão requires a special technique, because the ultra-fine cut can easily clog the bombilla, making it a style many beginners learn often after gaining some experience with traditional mate. Yeah, you also form this little like mountain on top of your gourd. It's a little bit different. And then you put the bombilla in, and then you twist it to the side. It's very interesting. So if you have never seen it, go on YouTube, Google chimarrão preparation, and you will see how chimarrão is prepared. I'm not an expert in chimarrão. I read a little bit about it, but if you like it real fresh, real almost, it tastes like almost like green tea, just in a yerba mate version. It's interesting. It's good if you like it. It has a very exquisite taste. So, final thoughts, my friend. Final thoughts. We're coming to the end. Which one is the right for you? To summarize it, it's very simple. Argentine yerba is very balanced, and it's a great and easy introduction. That does not mean that it is not perfect for experienced drinkers, because there are so many different yerbas. And as I said in the beginning, you start with the basics, and I'm air quoting basics, Playadito, La Merced, Taragüi, and then you move on to artisanal yerbas. You venture out, you try different brands, different yerbas. Kraus, for example. Kraus tastes like it's really good. It's really good, but you have to have a real liking for it, because it tastes so different than most yerbas. It's very fresh. It almost tastes like the first tip tastes like you're biting into grass. Without judgment, yeah, it's good, it's refreshing, but it's very different because it is hardly bitter. It's very, very fresh. So that's very different. That's why you have to just try different ones. Yeah, PU1 yerbas, Uruguay. That's I think the excellent next step. Or you try it in the beginning. It's a little bit more intense because of its coarse cut. It's very finely cut. It has no stems. Majority of the yerbas have no stems. You can start basically with Canarias, which is the go-to yerba for the Argentine national team. This is how they won the World Cup in Qatar. They brought tons of yerbas. I'm exaggerating, but they brought tons of Canarias yerbas because of its, I would say because of its caffeine content. It's higher, it's richer, it's smoother, it's almost creamy. That's Canarias. And then you have smaller brands like the one I mentioned before, Seleme Centenaria, or Sara. There's different herbs that they add to. But you can also get a traditional Sara, which has no flavors. It's just pure PU1 mate. And Baldo, the like classic PU1 yerba. So Paraguayan yerba. I would put it very simple. I would say Paraguayan yerba is perfect for tereré. If you get Pajarito, the one that has no added flavors, you can add your flavors. Any flavors that you want. Herbs, fruits. I don't know, put a steak in there and try it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't put a steak in there. But it just goes with anything. I would suggest to buy unflavored Paraguayan yerba and add your own flavors. Normally you get a much more intense flavor. You get a better quality, and this is how it should be consumed, I think. And hopefully my Paraguayan friends would agree with me here. And then there's chimarrão, of course. That's the vibrant green colored yerba with an incredible fresh character. I cannot really tell you too much about chimarrão. I'm not an expert on that. But if you want it fresh, if you want it incredibly fresh, this is the one that you should go with. But the beautiful thing about yerba mate is that every country has taken the same plant and developed it into its own tradition. Different cuts, different processing methods, different drinking habits, but all connected by the same country's old ritual of sharing mate. And that is what I would like you to take from this episode. Mate is something that is supposed to be shared. So please, my friends, my already mate drinkers, talk to your friends, introduce them to mate. Don't force them, but introduce them to mate. If you don't like the first yerba that you drink, try a different one. Try an Argentinian one instead of Uruguayan one. Try a Uruguayan one instead of a Paraguayan one. Try a Paraguayan one instead of an Argentinian one. Just test it out. Try different flavors and just enjoy the flavor that you like. Get the ones you want and try different ones all the time. Yeah, there's so many. There's hundreds of yerbas. I don't know, maybe even thousands. If there's anyone out there who knows how many yerbas we have, please drop a comment or let me know on Instagram at somosmateina. And don't forget to get your yerbas. We have over 90 different kinds of yerbas in our store. We get a new shipment tomorrow, so we'll be stocked up again. somosmateina.com, your yerba mate store. We ship Europe-wide. If you order over 59 euros, you get free shipping. And with that, my friends, I have to say goodbye, but it is only a goodbye for the next 2 weeks, because then we'll be back with a new episode of Mateina. And my name is Thomas, or Tomas, or whatever you want to call me. I'm your host, and don't forget to subscribe to join us in 2 weeks. And el café es para mortales, el mate para leyendas.